Dhammacakkapavattana Sutta. Dhamma is, we can say, truth. That is also the Buddhist doctrine. And but most of time people see it as law or truth. So kaka is will. So one of the translations possible is set in motion the will of the Dhamma or the truth or the knowledge. But that knowledge is not the knowledge of the world, but is the knowledge that one acquire by his own experience. And here I am use a translation from the Pali by Bhikkhu Bodhi. Bhikkhu is monk. So Dhammakakka is the name given to this first discourse of Buddha. It's frequently represented as meaning the kingdom of truth, the kingdom of righteousness, the will of truth. In this most important discourse, the Buddha expounds the middle path, which he himself discovered and which forms the essence of his new teaching. He opened the discourse by exhorting the 5 monks who believe in strict asceticism to avoid the extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification, as both do not lead to perfect peace and enlightenment. The former, that is self-indulgence, that is also when you let yourself in the pleasures of the world, retards one's spiritual progress, and the later, that is self-mortification, asceticism, weakens one's intellect, because you see, if we do not the right food to our bodies, not exercise the body get weak, and with the body the brain, and without a brain we cannot really just download the knowledge and the enlightenment to this physical world. So he criticized both views, as he realized by personal experience their futility, and enunciated the most practicable, rational, and beneficial path, which alone leads to perfect purity and absolute deliverance. The intellectual 5 monks who were closely associated with the Buddha for 6 years were the only human beings that were present to hear the sermon. But the book states that many invisible beings such as devas and brahmas also took advantage of the golden opportunity of listening to the sermon. And that is true, because beloved Saint Germain told me that where there is a person that is expanding great light, many ascended masters and spiritual beings from higher spheres come to that place to observe that one is speaking. That is really true. As Buddhists believe in the existence of realms other than this world, like us, dear hearts, inhabited by beings with subtle bodies imperceptible to the physical eye, possibly many devas and brahmas were also present on this great occasion. Nevertheless, it's clear that the Buddha was directly addressing the 5 monks, and the discourse was intended mainly for them. The Buddha says that he, the Tathagata is a title of Buddha that means the one who has attained perfection by his own efforts or by the Buddhist doctrine. So he realized the error of both these two extremes, self-indulgence and self-mortification, followed a middle path. This new path or way was discovered by himself. The Buddha termed his new system the middle way. To persuade his disciples was actually, until that moment, not disciples, was just his company. Uh, they became disciples after that first discourse, just after that discourse. So to persuade them to give heed to his new path, he spoke of its various blessings. Unlike the two diametrically opposite extremes, this middle path produces spiritual insight and intellectual wisdom to see things as they truly are. When the insight is clarified and the intellect is sharpened, everything is seen in its true perspective. So, dear hearts, let us read this sermon or teaching of Gautama, which beloved Maitreya always recite on this day of Asala, that also Humanity Festival in Pali, but of course that we hear it in our own native language. So Gautama told us, thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Varanasi in the deer park at Isipatana. That is a park there, no, and he was there. And they meet the five monks in that park. There, the Blessed One addressed the bhikkhus of the group of five thus. Bhikkhus, these two extremes should not be followed by one who has gone forth into homelessness. What to? The pursuit of sensual happiness in sensual pleasures, which is low, vulgar, the way of worldlings, ignoble, unbeneficial, and the pursuit of self-mortification, which is painful, ignoble, unbeneficial. Without varying towards either of these extremes, the Tathagata, the Buddha, has awakened to the middle way, which gives rise to vision, which gives rise to knowledge, which leads to peace, to direct knowledge, to enlightenment, to Nibbana. Nibbana, Nirvana, that means ascension. And we are going to see that Gautama repeats these verses that gives rise to vision, rise to knowledge, leads to peace, to direct knowledge, to enlightenment, to Nibbana several times. And there is a reason, because in this sequence, it seems to be the same thing, but it's not. Because as you practice this teaching of Gautama, the first thing that happens, you open your vision. You expand first your concrete mind, enlighten it. But first is this open of our normal vision. Understand things as the things truly are. And as we do it, then we acquire what? we acquire knowledge by doing that. But that knowledge is the first knowledge that is human knowledge. Or, yes, when you were studying some teaching that someone gave you, so you acquired that knowledge. But as you go open your vision and acquire knowledge and practice it, of course, you become peaceful. You enter into a state of peace. And when you calm yourself enough, then you start a new process. Sometimes you don't need to read something, but you have the insight of that direct knowledge, the knowledge that comes from within, from your higher mental body, your I am presence. And as you go through this process and hold your peace, there is an increasement or increasing of that process, that peace, that direct knowledge, until we will reach or achieve as the Buddha the enlightenment. And after the enlightenment, your ascension. So that is increasing from the open of your vision until you are the vision of the light of that divine self or that great central sun consciousness completely in this world. So for this reason, you go to repeat it and repeat and repeat. And he continues, and what, because, is that middle way awakened to by the Tathagata, the Buddha, which gives rise to vision, which gives rise to knowledge, which leads to peace, to direct knowledge, and to enlightenment, to Nibbana. It is the Noble Eightfold Path. That is, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. This because is that middle way awakened to by the Tathagata, which gives rise to vision, which gives rise to knowledge, which leads to peace, to direct knowledge, to enlightenment, to Nibbana. Now this because is the noble truth of suffering. Suffering, that is everything is suffering, was the first noble truth. There is suffering. And he explained, birth is suffering. Why birth is suffering, dear hearts? Because the world above the physical is much more wider. When we enter these physical bodies, we got with it plenty of limitations. Our bodies is full of limitations. So birth is suffering. Aging is suffering. No one likes to age. Oh, we accept it. But we aim to be eternal. Wellness is suffering. Who likes to be sick? Nobody likes. Death is suffering. Oh, we understand death. Even I understand death. But who likes to lose a loved one? We can understand it. Even when we understand it, it's not easy. It's not easy to lose a four-legged one, our pet. I remember when I lost my puppy a few years ago. I suffered. I understood everything. Of course, I know there is no death, but yes, that process made me suffer. So it's, even when we understand that, it's not so easy to deal with it. Union with what is displeasing is suffering. When life sends us something that we don't like, we suffer. Separation from what is pleasing is suffering. When life takes away something that we like, we suffer too. Not to get what one wants is suffering and breathing. The five regrets subject to clinging are suffering. And suffering is the first noble truth. So now this because is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. Because we have suffering, then we needed to understand why we needed to get to put an end on that. We needed to understand and find the causes, the origin of suffering. It is this craving which leads to rebecoming, accompanied by delight and lust, is seeking delight here and there. There is craving for sensual pleasures, craving for becoming, and craving for this becoming. So our craving is the origin of suffering. So now this because is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. So first you understand there is suffering. It's illusion, but there is. We feel it and we don't like. Then we need to discover the cause of that, the origin of that. And if you know that there is suffering, that there is a cause, then I can put an end to it. So he continued. Now this because is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering. It is this reminderless fading away and cessation of that same craving. The giving up and relinquishing of it, the freedom from it, no reliance on it. And that is the most difficult part of your hearts because we crave. And to let go of our cravings, that is the key. It's not easy. Now, this because is the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. It is the Noble Eightfold Path. That is, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So he gave us a tool of techniques so that we can let go of our cravings and purify ourselves to put an end on our suffering. This is the noble truth of suffering. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, truth, knowledge, and light. This noble truth of suffering, that is, there is suffering, is to be fully understood. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, enlightenment. This noble truth of suffering has been fully understood by himself, by the Tathagata. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, enlightenment. This is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. Thus, people, In regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the origin, the cause of suffering, is to be abandoned. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the origin of suffering has been abandoned by himself. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. The truth of the cessation of suffering. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the cessation of suffering is to be realized. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the cessation of suffering has been realized by himself. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, enlightenment. This is the noble truth of the way leading to cessation of suffering. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the way leading to cessation of suffering is to be developed. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, and light. This noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering has been developed. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, there arose in me vision, knowledge, wisdom, true knowledge, enlightenment. So long because as my knowledge and vision of these four noble truths, that there is suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the Eightfold Path, that is the way to raise ourselves completely from that. So, as they really are in their three phases, and 12 aspect was not thoroughly purified in this way, I did not claim to have awakened to the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment in this world with its devas, Mara and Brahma, in this generation with its recluses and Brahmins, its devas and humans. So devas is the enlightened beings. Mara is the opposition force that, yes, hold us in the sensual pleasures, and Brahma is the enlightened one, like God, But when my knowledge and vision of these four noble truths, as they really are in their three phases and 12 aspects, was thoroughly purified in this way, then I claim to have awakened to the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment in this world, with its devas, Mara and Brahma, in this generation with its recluses and Brahmins, its devas and humans. The knowledge and the vision arose in me. Unshakable is the liberation of my mind. This is my last birth. Now there is no more re-become. he was free from the wheel of reincarnations. This is what the Blessed One, the Buddha, said. Being pleased, the beings of the group of five delighted in the Blessed One's statement. And while this discourse was being spoken, there arose in the venerable Kandana the dust-free, stainless vision of the Dhamma, truth, law, or Buddhist doctrine. Whatever is subject to origination is all subject to cessation. That means if something has a beginning, surely it will have an end. And when the wheel of the Dhamma has been set in motion by the Blessed One, the earth devas raised a cry. At Varanasi, in the deer park at Isipatana, this unsurpassed wheel of the Dhamma has been set in motion by the Blessed One, which cannot be stopped by any recluse or Brahmi or Deva or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. Having heard the cry of the earth devas, the devas of the realm of the four great kings, that is connected to the lords of karma, raised a cry. At Varanasi, this unsurpassed will of the Dhamma has been set in motion by the Blessed One, which cannot be stopped by anyone in the world. Having heard the cry of the Devas of the realm of the four great kings, the Tavatinsa Devas, the Yama Devas, the Tusita Devas, the Nimanarati Devas, the Paranimittavasavati Devas, the Devas of Brahma's company raised a cry. At Varanasi, in the deer park at Isipatana, this unsurpassed will of the Dhamma has been set in motion by the Blessed One, which cannot be stopped by any recluse or Brahm or Deva or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. Gautama has made a fiat. And by that fiat, he just spreads such light in the atmosphere of this planet. Thus, at that moment, at that instant, at that second, the cry spread as far as the Brahma world. So he enlighten the atmosphere of this planet, but that light was so great that it extended until the core of the great central sun, the Brahma word, God's word. And this 10,000-fold world system shook, quaked, and trembled, and an immeasurable glorious radiance appear in the world, surpassing the divine majesty of the Devas. The Devas, the great ones, was completely enlightened by the wisdom and the knowledge and the light and radiance of Lord Gautama. Then the Blessed One uttered this inspired utterance. Kondana has indeed understood. Kondana has indeed understood. In this way, the Venerable Kondana acquired the name Anna. Kondana, Kondana, who has understood. This venerable was one of the bhikkhus or monks that was in this group of 5 monks. He has perfectly understood the meaning, the full meaning of teaching, of the teaching of beloved Gautama. So, dear hearts, this is or was the first sermon given by